Philip Schofield gave six-figure sum to ex-lover. What? The bloke who the angry Bootneck was calling a pervert? Sorry, rightly calling a sex pest. Loudly and proudly on account of the fact that it's wholly illogical to say that someone who has an affair with someone much younger than them is moral. Are you telling me that that person turned out to be a sexual predator who was paying a teenager so they could roger them like a copper's radio? Is that what you're telling me, BBC? Because it sounds like that's what you're telling me. It sounds dangerously like you're agreeing with every single word I said many times over a period of several years. I never thought I'd see the day. Right then, this is brilliant, obviously, because I made loads of videos about this filthy bag of carrots many, many times over a period of a couple of years. And as I've just said, that was why. Because anybody with a fully functioning brain, i.e. people that judge people as individuals rather than as a faceless collective and practice an ideology that's been telling everybody, listen, women, people that aren't white, the LGBT community, the followers of a certain monotheism, but only one group, not the other two. If those people do anything wrong, what you have to do is you have to completely ignore it or cover up for them. Hundreds of thousands of cases of torture and sexual abuse, cover up for them and help them, because the ideology that you cling to like the world's largest limpet with a case of rigor mortis, you cling to it so powerfully that you actually believe that anybody who isn't a straight white man, disabled, I forgot about them, remember that bloke off Doctor Who rewrote Davros, because apparently every single person who has a disability is moral all the time. I mean, it's crazy, right? But that's the world we're living in. Russell T Davies, the writer, said, "We had long conversations about bringing Davros back, but there's a problem, you see. Davros is in a wheelchair. Who's evil? And we can't have that." A lot of us on the production team had problems with it, associating disability with evil. So what the maniacs that run the world think is if any number of individuals can be under this gigantic intersectional umbrella, right? It's anyone black, brown, Asian, Native, American, anywhere, gay, trans, lesbian, LGBTQ plus IA, walks with a limp, practices a religion that they decide is very, very marginalised, even though most of the people that get killed are a result of it, and most of the grooming victims were as a result of it. But they've decided that any of those people, all of them, not any of them, all of them, are moral. None of them lie, none of them cheat, none of them steal. All of the crime statistics suggest this isn't the case, of course. They suggest, as usual, that the exact opposite is true. I'm looking at you, murder rate in the United States of America. They can't do anything wrong. So because Philip Schofield, a married pensioner, rich, powerful married pensioner, uses his influence to cheat on his wife with a teenager who he groomed when the teenager was a child, and they decided it was moral. Not only was there nothing wrong with doing it, not only was there nothing wrong with a rich, powerful, famous man, 45 years his senior, folding up a child like a deck chair and leaving him with a ring piece like the top end of a welly. Not only was there nothing wrong with that, he was a hero, he was moral, and he had to be celebrated. This is the world we're living in. Absolute lunacy. If a 60-year-old man, famous, rich man, groomed a 16-year-old girl and then started banging her like a barn door in a hurricane behind his wife's back, I think a lot of people would say, that's not very moral. But just because he could tick a single box on the identity victimhood pyramid, a single box because he's white, rich and famous, man, but he managed to tick a single box, and then the exact inverse is true. Cheating on your wife, lying to your spouse, lying to your children, grooming a kid, and then bouncing on his shitbox in a collection of hotel rooms, seedy hotel rooms, in secret, was a just and moral and righteous thing. And everybody said he was great, and Alison had a cry on telly, and Holly Willoughby was like, oh, he's such a nice man, oh, he's a hero. The world's gone mad if you believe this. If you believe that something that would be called deeply immoral by all of society suddenly becomes a moral act because of the immutable characteristics of the person that done it, you are a maniac. And I've got news for you. Not wanting to get into the Stephen Hawking possibly being a pest conspiracy theory. But guess what? Sometimes disabled people tell lies. I'm just putting it out there. Sounds a bit weird, but they do. And guess what? Occasionally, you meet a mean-spirited lesbian who might punch you in the throat because you tried to hit on a friend, and they were all in the women's rugby team and they were out from Teesside University, and this definitely didn't happen to me in a nightclub in Middlesbrough when I was in my 20s. Yeah, definitely didn't get throat punched by a needlessly chippy, squat, ram man looking bitch with a bad attitude. Right, that's what you look like, ram man. Remember him? Smash me in the jugular. It's lunacy. People are individuals. Lots of straight white men are nice, moral, decent people, and so are lots of gay ones. But guess what? Some of both of those groups, some people are just horrible. They're just horrible. Bricktop, he was horrible. Could have been bisexual though, couldn't he? Could have been. Would he then become a good guy? Because according to the BBC, he would have done. Anyway, I've just ranted and I realised I haven't even read the story. Let's do that. Philip Schofield made a substantial payment to a colleague he had an affair with in a deal that came with a non-disclosure agreement. The former This Morning presenter left ITV last year after he admitted lying about the relationship. And you called him a hero, BBC, and you stuck up for him and you said we were all bad people for noticing that a dirty pensioner rogering a child was possibly immoral. Lawyers for the staff confirmed he later helped pay for his former lover's legal fees as well as compensation for the loss of his job and home. The arrangement came with a non-disclosure agreement for both sides. Details of the payment were first reported by the Mail on Sunday, which claimed Schofield handed over a six-figure sum. And there he is with one of his many defenders who took his side because of, well, reasons apparently. There's no need to talk about it anymore, is there? We all know what's gone on. It's been a long time coming. But it's just confirmed what everybody who isn't insane has thought all along. It just boggles my mind that people are in the thrall of this ideology to the point where they will defend the actions, the most despicable actions of people, because they've decided the person basks underneath some form of intersectional umbrella, and therefore no matter what they do, they're always the good guys. It's a very strange state of affairs. But let me know what you think. If you think Scopes is a perfect gentleman, and there's nothing wrong with doing nice things for young kids, and then promptly doing less nice things to them the second they turn 16, I'd love to know what your thought process is, but let me know, alright? Thanks for watching as always, and I will see you all very soon. I hope you had a good weekend. Toodle pip. Cheers.